everybody. Welcome back to my reclaimed timber sawing project, and I'd also like to say welcome to the almost 250 subscribers that came on board this weekend. I appreciate that, and hopefully you like what you're seeing here. It's Monday, and for those of you that saw my first video in this series, I didn't get a single bit of sawing done this weekend. I ended up bringing an excavator home from work on Friday, and I spent Friday evening exposing my water line that I'm going to need to lower for my new driveway route that I'm going to hopefully work on Memorial Weekend, next weekend. And I also had two fabrication projects that were due this weekend. One was a couple of hair salon stations that I delivered and installed, and then the second was a cool little project for a couple that had a branch, I guess it was, that they wanted to make into a handrail, and they had me make some steel posts to support the handrail, so I also installed that on Sunday. But back at the sawmill, about all I managed to do was get the rest of the timber staged and ready to get sawn. So I'm gonna finish sawing the one that's on the mill now, and then get another one up there and probably do some denailing. Here we go. This bottom board varies from almost an inch at this end to an inch and 3/4 at the other end. I'm going to set it aside in case I need to get creative to try and get a couple more boards out of this. I need 145 altogether, and I think I've got 15 right now, so it's going to be close, but I'll set this aside in case I need to try and salvage it. This one's got some lath and plaster on it. Well, despite my efforts, I hit one of these tiny nails, and it didn't just saw it in half, it kind of slid down the length of it, which didn't destroy the blade, but it's given me a pattern that I don't know that they want, and you can kind of see the lines. So I'm going to put a new blade on and keep going. While I'm changing this blade, I want to mention a couple of channels that I've recently found and enjoy watching. The first one is a channel called Patton Woodworks, and from what I understand, it's an 18-year-old guy who worked his butt off and bought himself an LT35 hydraulic just like this, and he runs it inside of a really cool eastern red cedar barn, and it's kind of cool to watch somebody that young be into something this specialized. And the other night I was watching his newest video, and he did a blade change barehanded, and I was like, man, if I look at a blade, I get my hands cut. So I always wear leather gloves. This blade is still pretty sharp, and the one I'm going to put on it will be even sharper. There's just no graceful way to do this. And another channel that I like is called Bus Huxley, and he also has an LT35, and he's got some he's really stepped up his editing on his videos. He's got some really cool videos where he built a shed over his sawmill and time-lapsed a bunch of stuff and did some really cool edits that make it a lot of fun to watch. He's got all kinds of stuff on his channel. That didn't go too bad. Now, I don't think Wood-Mizer recommends this, but I like to spin the blade a little bit under power before I close it all up and make sure that everything's good. When I picked this saw up brand new and they were training me how to use it, our very first cut, the blade came off, and you can see it chewed up both doors. So I just like to give a little spin and make sure everything's good. All right, where were we? And I'm starting to get into the checks that were in the middle of that timber, and so I don't think it's, I might slab out the rest of this and they can maybe make 8-inch wide boards if they need. Yeah, they could make 8-inchers out of that. Well, in just over 10 minutes, I got 22 more boards cut. I've got 30 of them that are pretty much blemish free. There's a little bit of checking in some of these, but I think it'll be okay. And then this pile, there's 7 boards here that have either some pretty severe checking in them, or they've got marks in them from that blade when I hit the nail. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to use each of these in some point, either cut out the checks or whatever. Maybe they want them for character. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going. Okay. Well, I'm just going to start at the top on this one and saw my way down and see how that works out. Well, I've sawn 55 boards. I need 145 altogether, and I'm only through 1.5 of the timbers, so I still have 4.5 to go. I don't think I'll have any problem getting the quantity I need, which is good. I'll email them and let them know. Anyway, I'm going to pack it up for today and do some more tomorrow after work. See you then. What are you doing in my sawdust?